Well, good morning from Europe. It's Thursday, November 17, and where we are going to check the market condition. As always, first we will check the economic data and the calendar, and then we'll see the charts. Uh, After yesterday update, we had German inflation. I have to mention, at the beginning, I have to mention that the finally U.S. government opened after 43 days, something like that, 42 or 43 days. Finally, 222 Democrats, they voted, I mean, six Democrats and 216 Republicans, they voted for opening and 200, I don't know, the number of the number of the Democrats who generally did 209, and all 209 other Democrats, they voted against uh, this bill, which is for the government funding. Anyway, finally the government opened, and from today we're gonna probably have it's gonna be the first day after opening, so probably we're gonna have some economic data from the United States. I don't know, as it's the first day, I don't know if we can have the full data like inflation data or apply for the unemployment benefits. I don't know if we're going to have them all or partly. So we will see. That's depend on how fast the government laborers they're going to get back to their job and publish the data. Anyway, after yesterday update, German inflation had stabilized around the same levels that we had before, 0.2% monthly increase for both CPI and core CPI, which held the inflation around 2.3, 2.4%. Yeah, that was the most important. Italian industrial production also increased by 2.8% monthly and 1.5% annually. About the OPEC Plus and EIA short-term energy outlook, I will talk later. Indian inflation slightly from 1.44% is to 0.25% annually in October. That's very low inflation. And in United States, 30 years mortgage rates increased slightly to 6.34% from previous 6.31%. While the rates slightly increased, application also slightly increased by 0.6% after last week's 1.9% drop. Yesterday we had building permits from the Canada, which increased by 4.5%, while the Argentinian inflation data showed that again inflation increased slightly from 2.1% to 2.4%. Monthly, annually in October, we had inflation at 32%. Still, compared with the just like previous year inflation of more than 100%. It's a very good number. Sounds like the Argentinian economy is in the right way. Let's wait and see what the Javier will do with his next government. In United States, we had API reports. American Petroleum Institute published weekly report, and it showed that inventories increased by 1,300,000 barrels. This is while the EIA in its monthly report also mentioned that the U.S. production can increase to its highest level for 2025, and probably we can have the record in 2026. Same almost thing we had from the OPEC report, which OPEC finally accepted that in production is increasing, and most probably the production will be much more than demand. So that's why, while the production is expected to stay higher than the demand, that's why supply on balance will put the pressure on the prices. That's put the pressure on the prices as well last night. Anyway, we can go forward and check that in the chart. In Australia, we had earlier today, Australia permits long-term migration data. They're not important. In Japan, we had PPI data, producer price index, annually increased by 2.7%, slightly less than previous month, and monthly increased by 0.4%. I have to mention that in Japan, the Japanese yen increased to 155 against US dollar, above 155 actually. The government dovish comments, while the central bank's officials also continued this, and they talk that's gonna probably soon to hike their to increase their rates. So that they are all supported the idea of the lower rate for longer in Japan, and that's put the pressure on Japanese yen. And now the yen is 155 against US dollar. That can be that can have a negative effect for the Japanese economy. Let's see what they want to decide later. In Australia, we had labor market data for the October unemployment rate increased to slightly eased to 4.3%, while the full employment increased by 55,000 in October. So that's somehow the good news. In Japan, 5 years Japanese bond rates slightly increased to 1.24% from previous 1.23%. In French, unemployment rate increased by 7.7% in the third quarter. In United Kingdom, we have very interesting data for the third quarter. Business investment increased by 0.7%. Construction output, this is published data was just published right now. Construction output increased by 0.2%. UK construction 1.3%. Third quarter data. Yeah, that's the most data right now we're going to have from the GDP, index of the service, industrial production, manufacturing production. Mostly the data we have from the United Kingdom is negative, as you can see here in all of them. They fell much more than expected, and even they fell more than previous month. Industrial production in September fell by 2%. Monthly, annually by 2.5% fell. Manufacturing dropped by 1.7% monthly and 2.2% annually. Monthly GDP 3 months and 3 month change increased by only 0.1%, while GDP in the third quarter increased by only 0.1%. Quarterly and 1.3% annually. GDP monthly in September fell by 0.1%. Annually in September increased only 1.1%. These data shows generally the economic condition in United Kingdom is not fine, and it's not going to support the British pound most probably. And while with these data, the central bank is expected right now. There is, we can say now is the chance of rate cut for December meeting is 100%. So next meeting in Bank of England, we're gonna probably have, not probably, it's 100%. We're gonna have at least 25 basis point rate cut. Later today, we're gonna have the producer price index or PPI from Switzerland. Chinese landing data should be published, and EIA monthly report. As yesterday we had OPEC and IEA report, and today we have EIA report and IEA report. Sorry, EIA report yesterday. Today we're gonna have the IEA report, International Energy Administration, about the energy market, about the EIA and OPEC report. I already informed what's happened. Yeah, today if the government opens, and now I don't know, we're gonna have probably the inflation numbers or not, but inflation for both CPI and core CPI expected to increase by 0.3% in October. Annually, it's gonna stay around 3% or 3.1%. Generally, the data, and also as every Thursday, most probably we're gonna have the labor market data for initial and continuing jobless claims. As mentioned, this is the first day government opens. We are not sure that if we're going to have them or not. Anyway, if we will have them, most probably the data will be like probably there'll be higher inflation. Most probably the government shutdown also can support the higher prices as well. In the charts, looking at the chart, we can say if we check with the VIX or market risk after slowing down yesterday, today at the beginning of the market increased about again 19.40. That supported the dollar index as well. The dollar index again increased to 99.40, while the gold price above 4,200 and continues Further, as the market risk is still high, silver is making a record again above $53 earlier. Just like 3 hours ago, it was around $54.10. In energy market, gas price around $4.60 and $4.70 moving, while the oil price after EIA and OPEC monthly report and EIA weekly reports fell by more than $2 to $58.50 from $60.50. While S&P and Nasdaq, they are moving sideways and mostly slightly upward and downside tendency, which after the just like slowing down everything, today we most probably gonna have the downside in this chart. And Dow Jones is making a history above 48,044 dollar in its future chart. Bitcoin and other cryptos, they are mostly moving sideways, same as in Nasdaq and S&P 500, with the downtrend expectations for those charts. For Bitcoin also, we are not positive, especially as long as it's trading on a 106,000 US dollar. That's the market condition and expectations. Hope it was useful for you. Talk to you again tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye-bye.